This has Bears fans fired up as we approach week 6 against the Washington Commanders coming off the bye week. Monday Night Football it is. Welcome to Bears Digest, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Dylan Guinzy. If you have not subscribed already, please make sure to do so. Hit that bell. It's free. It's easy. 94% of watchers the last 28 days are not subscribed. We just pulled that report the other day. We'll get another one here next week, but 94% not subscribed from those of you watching. So please be sure to hit that bell to stay up to date on news, rumors, and everything that comes to us. So today, guys, what we're going to discuss is some key points that should have everybody fired up, some good, some bad, regarding metrics going into this week's game against the Commanders. How do we win? How do we take advantage of some of the weaknesses on the Commanders side? How do we take our positives and our strengths and excel at those to win this game? So we're going to break everything down, going through a New York Times article that was released by Dan Wiederer yesterday, or this morning, actually. He is on the Bears beat, so obviously he has a lot to do with the Bears, knows everything about them. Sometimes he does pull in some more contrarian beliefs, I guess, for the Bears. So he is definitely not biased in that way, or anything like that. So today we're going to be going through some key metrics. There's 10 in here. We're going to go through a little bit less than that, just the most important things. What I want you guys to do down below is comment what you guys think the most important items for this game against the Commanders are, what we need to do, whether that's the run game, stopping the run, throwing better on early down situations, whatever that may be. Let me know down below in terms of your key points for this game against the Commanders, because obviously it is a big one. So what we're going to start with, ladies and gentlemen, is this 2-2, which is the current record. Naturally, we're starting with the 500 record, a fitting indicator of this team's roller coaster September. The two NFC North losses to open up the season stung, but the Bears rebounded with encouraging victories, a home thrashing of the Cowboys, and a win against the Raiders. Since the NFL expanded to a 16-game schedule in 1978, the Bears have split the first 4 games 13 times. Across those 13 seasons, the team has qualified for the playoffs twice, 1979 and 1994. The climb will be steep, but the chance to reset at 2-2 proved energizing. So obviously the 2-2 record is much, much, much better than 1-3. I don't know the exact stats on playoff runs after 1-3, but I can guarantee you it's probably 0 or close to it for the Bears. So just coming off this bye week and the importance of being 500 and kind of hitting that reset button is massive, right? No matter how the first 4 weeks went and the first 4 games went, being able to come in here with at least a chance that we're not used to, at least a chance to have a fighter's situation coming on down the stretch here and a potential to make the playoffs is always important. So that is the first one there. Next one is rushing yards allowed by the Bears defense through week 5, 164.5. They are allowing a league worst 6.2 yards per rush. 2 weeks ago, the Bears allowed 240 yards to the Raiders. We all saw that. It was horrific. That was the most rushing yards allowed by the Bears in a win since 1979. So I guess some positive there is we won a game with allowing that much rush yards. I said it right after the game against the Raiders that I couldn't believe that we gave up that many rushing yards and still won the ball game. So I guess that's a positive. But overall, the rush defense has been putrid, to say the least, and it's got to be fixed. So the Bears run defense and rushing yards allowed is not good. So on top of that, what we have to point out is the Commanders' rush game on offense compared to our rush defense. So of additional significance this week, the Commanders lead the NFL in rushing at 156.4 yards per game and 5.9 yards per attempt. Rookie Bill Krosky-Merritt turned 14 rushes into 111 yards and 2 touchdowns in Sunday's Commanders win over the Chargers, and now leads the league with 6.6 yards per carry. So obviously our rush defense has got to step it up in a massive, massive way. That is a key point, arguably the number one point that the Bears need to solidify, or at least manage in a way to have a chance to win this game, or else they're just going to run it down our throats the entire game, and we're going to really have no chance, and the Bears defense is going to get gassed, and it's going to be a big, big problem. Obviously, the Commanders have a running quarterback. Their rookie running back in Krosky-Merritt is very good. They have other complements that are also very good on the ground that are underrated, and their offensive line is very good at run blocking. So all of those things add up to a great rushing attack for them. Obviously, they're first in the league. So now it's first versus worse. What's going to happen, right? Can we hold them to just an average to slightly above average game on the ground? Time will tell there, but that's going to be a major point in how this game plays out on Monday. So going to the offensive side of the ball for the Bears, it's going to be the offense and our rushing game. Rushing yards per game by the offense is 102.3 for the Bears. The search for an identity in the ground game continues. DeAndre Swift has totaled just 187 yards through 4 games with this 3.3 yards per carry average, coming in below his career worst average of 3.8 yards per carry from last season. Johnson rallied to Swift's defense after the win against the Raiders and doubled down Tuesday with his assertion that the running game problems are all-encompassing. There are a lot of times on the tape where we're not giving our runners a chance. There's an ongoing push for offensive linemen to be cleaner with their combinations, for the running backs to hit the right tracks, for the perimeter blockers to be on point, and for the quarterback to carry out his fakes with more purpose. So, obviously, yes, it's a lot of things included. It's not just DeAndre Swift, but he's been pretty bad on the ground as well ever since he's been in Chicago. And the importance of the Bears coming out here with a solid rushing attack after the bye is so important, especially if you're going to try to keep the ball away from the Commanders. You can't have a bunch of incompletions. You can't be throwing it the whole game. You have got to control the clock and win that time management battle by running the ball well and getting more than, 3.3 yards a clip. Like, that's just embarrassing. Obviously, Caleb helps us out in the run game. He might need to use his legs a little bit more this game if they're going to want to have a chance to take this one home on Monday Night Football. So, upon all of that, we'll go through a little bit of some positives as well. We want to discuss the positive things and what we can really excel at and continue to build on to win this game as well. So, first thing is the sack rate for Caleb Williams. It's 5.1%. In a 31-14 beating of Dallas 2 weeks ago, Williams was not sacked for the first time in his career. 7 days later in Vegas, despite significantly more pressure, he was sacked only once. After taking 68 sacks with a 10.8% sack rate as a rookie, Williams' improvement in this department is encouraging. Williams has credited his offensive line for sturdy protection while acknowledging his increased familiarity with his offensive lineman's strengths and weaknesses. So the sack rate has been tremendous for Caleb Williams, and the total sacks that he has taken, I believe it is 7, has been phenomenal as well. He's tied for first in the league. Obviously, we had a bye week, so one less game now, but he's in the upper echelon of avoiding sacks and not taking sacks in general this year. And that is the one thing that we really needed to fix in the offseason, that he needed to fix as well, is just knowing when to escape, knowing when to just get the ball out and go, those different things. So he's doing all of that very well, and that's big this week as well against the Commanders, who are very good in their pass rush. Dorrance Armstrong is amazing. Von Miller still got some in the tank. Daron Payne right up the middle. All of those guys are very, very good rushers. They're going to be getting after him very quickly. So he's got to continue this trajectory of low sacks to not get us behind the sticks for the entire game. So that is very important there. The next thing is Caleb and Rome Odunze. So this is a combination of explosive plays with Rome Odunze and other players, so more on the Caleb side there, and then Rome Odunze and his touchdowns and their connection. So this has to continue here this week. So 13 Williams completions of 20 yards or more. So he's getting more explosives this year. A lot of them have been going towards Rome Odunze as well. So keeping that going, that 2.41 explosive completions per start. This year to date, it is 3.25. So 2.41 last year, 3.25 now. Obviously, the Cowboys game does have a lot to do with that as well, but that has to continue. We need to get more explosives, especially if you're going tit for tat with a team like the Commanders who have an explosive offense. We have to do the same thing. Those plays have to come up this game. So can we get 3 or 4 big plays on Monday night? We'll be looking for that. 5, that is touchdown catches for Rome Odunze, including at least 1 each game. So Odunze has been hot. He's obviously taken that step that we have looked for out of our number 9 overall pick in last year's draft in 2024. And that's got to continue, right? I want him to have another touchdown this game. He's going to be open. Caleb's just got to find him and keep that continued growth and connection going. He has become the 3rd Bear ever to record 5 touchdown receptions through the first 4 games, matching Brandon Marshall and Dennis McKinnon. Marshall finished 2014 with 8 touchdown grabs. McKinnon, 7 scores in 1985. Those have to, or I guess Rome Odunze's TD receptions has to be higher in my opinion. I want that to be 10 plus. I think that's just going to solidify their connection and that trust and continuing that growth. That's going to give him a Pro Bowl caliber season. And that's really important, especially in this week's game where Marshawn Lattimore, I believe, will primarily be on Rome Odunze's side, might be shadowing him a little bit for the Commanders. And he is a guy that is either one, completely locked down, or two, just has some lapses in coverage and you have no idea that he's even on the field. So Rome Odunze needs to take advantage of that. Obviously, he's a great route runner. He's strong. He's physical. He's big. I think Caleb needs to take some shots, and maybe if he does get a one-on-one coverage, just throw it up to Rome and see what he can do. Let's see if he can get 1 or 2 more touchdown grabs here this week for the Bears. Next thing here is the first quarter points scored. So that's 31 this year. Last season, the team managed 27 total first quarter points across the entire season. That is massive. It is a huge change. Obviously, everybody knows we've been getting to a little bit faster starts. That has to continue this week, where the Bears did nothing on offense against the Commanders last year, and doing that this week, getting another fast start, maybe getting a lead early would be tremendous for this team just to take some pressure off and allow everybody to just take a little bit of a breather and settle into the game, especially when it's on the road in prime time. So doing this again, more first quarter points is going to be massive for the Bears as well. Last thing that we're going to touch on here is the field goal game. Like I said the other day about Cairo Santos and potentially Jake Moody, is this might come down to a field goal type game. So talking about this, 23 career field goals, 50 yards or longer by Cairo Santos. Bears kicker connected from 52 and 51 against the Raiders during a 4 field goal performance. Obviously some more, stats and information about Cairo Santos down below, but that does come with an asterisk as Santos is working through that quad injury that we don't know if he's going to play or not. So this is very important for this week. I think it's a big storyline. If he does not play, Jake Moody calling on him in this primetime game in a big, tension sort of game, a lot of storylines between the two teams, especially after last year's game. I'm not confident in that, right? I don't like that. I don't want Moody to be thrusted into that role, but we'll see how it goes. So this is big. Obviously, is the field goal kicking game. If it does come down to that, a 3-point game or needing a field goal to win the ball game, hopefully Cairo Santos can go. But it's looking a little bit bleak, especially after today's practice too. Was not participating from what I was aware. So that is some of the key points here for this week's game, guys. We need all of this to happen. We need to shore up the run defense. We have to run the ball better. The Caleb and Rome connection has got to continue to thrive and grow. All of that is going to be massively important for the Bears to sneak out a win against the Commanders. And of course, we'll be watching. We'll be here with all of the updates as we go forward. Tomorrow is Friday. You're going to get our, one of our final injury reports, the last one being Saturday. We're going to cover everything there is to cover. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell for notifications. Be sure to always bear down, and thank you for joining us once again.